Hi, everyone. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us. And thank you, Neja, for hosting the session today. If you have any questions at all while Neja is speaking, please feel free to write in the chat, and then she'll get to the questions after her presentation, or feel free to unmute yourself after the presentation. Anyway, over to you.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing great. Thank you all for joining me today at my second conference call. Today, I will talk about myself, about my investing journey, and about my portfolio. At the end, I will share my future views with you. And if, as Zara mentioned, if you have any questions, please feel free to write them in the chat, and I will try to answer them at the end of the presentation. Here is my contact information. Please feel free to write me anytime. I'm happy to help. Just be careful with Instagram, since there are few fake accounts out there that are not actually mine. Voilà. Can you see the presentation? I will try to do it like this. I have recently created my webpage where you can also find some information. It doesn't have all the features yet, but I will try to perfect it in the near future. For those who don't know me yet, my name is Neja Molk, and I'm elite popular investor from Slovenia. Besides that, I'm also master's student of biotechnology. I was studying at biotechnical faculty at University of Ljubljana, and I was on my Erasmus exchange past semester in Vienna. And at the moment, I am working on my master thesis in University Medical Center in Ljubljana. I also spent a few months in UK working at a company called Naya BMR, and I was working at a startup called Longevice. Besides investing and biotechnology, I also love to travel. I was working as a volunteer in Gambia. I was working in a public hospital in the lab, and I really enjoyed that time. I also love to spend my free time in nature, hiking, surfing, and I love to ski. About my investing career, I started to think about my finances when my pocket money was my only source of income. I was always interested in finance, and even though I professionally decided to focus on science and biotechnology, this passion for finance never faded away. I saw an opportunity in COVID correction, and then I opened my eToro account. With that, investing became even more significant part of my daily life. And my goal is to reach financial freedom for me and for my family. And eventually, I would like to support startups with ideas that I find interesting and give something back to my community. Since the beginning, I love the social part of eToro, and I joined Popular Investors program in 2021. At the moment, I'm on elite level. I passed the CISI exam in International Wealth and Investment Management along the way, which is required for elite level. And my strategy was recognized as value investing strategy by eToro. And I must say that I'm really proud of that. I already had some media opportunities. I was invited to Web Summit in Lisbon by eToro. That was last November. There I met some of Popular Investors and eToro staff for the first time in person. I had some interviews, and I appeared on Slovene commercial TV channel and had a podcast in Copy Traders Club. Last Wednesday, I attended the first Popular Investor Summit in London. I met many wonderful popular investors, eToro staff, and some clients. eToro also invited me to speak about how I'm managing to beat the market and how I'm managing my Instagram account. I had a great time, and I hope there will be more events like this one in person in the future. Since my last conference call, my basic stats have slightly changed. My AUM has grown by more than 18% to 4.5 million. Number of my copiers has also increased to 4,400 from 3,300. And I have seen the biggest increase in number of followers. At my last conference call, I had around 20K followers, and I have around 380K followers at the moment. My risk level has also grown up to 4, which is still low, but the reason for that is recent volatility in the market. I forgot to mention that I'm grateful for everyone who joined me and for everyone who trusts me. Here you can see that that majority of my portfolio are still low risk positions. My investing strategy is based on value investing. I am looking for companies. I'm looking for companies that are undervalued or fairly valued, and I plan to invest in them for a longer period of time. My portfolio consists of ETFs and stocks. I don't hold any crypto, and I'm not shorting or using leverage. My portfolio is well diversified among different companies and different sectors. I used to have around 45 companies in my portfolio, but I have to admit that this was just too much for me to handle. I couldn't be that. I couldn't read earnings reports in such detail and keep up with all the news. And another problem I see with too wide diversification are companies which have great upside potential. They couldn't make any positive impact on the portfolio because positions were simply too small. That's why I decided to reduce the number of holdings. Right now, there are 29 holdings in my portfolio. And I also love companies that are paying dividends or alternatively buying back their own shares. Here you can see companies with the biggest dividend yield in my portfolio. At the moment, top 3 are ZIM, which is shipping company, and Rio and BHP, which are operating in mining sector. My analysis is based on fundamental analysis. Before I decide to invest in specific company or close a position, I do a fundamental analysis of a company. I take a look at their financial data and data from earnings reports. I am also looking at macroeconomic movements and geopolitical interests. For me, it's also important to check other companies that are operating in the same sector and do sector analysis. Following this strategy I described, I created a portfolio that shows sufficient level of resilience even in these times. And I'm still outperforming the market. Here on this graph, my performance compared to 2 major indices in this year. This data is few days old, so it's not really accurate. It's not completely accurate, but as you can see, Nasdaq is at around -30% at the moment, SP 500 is at around minus 20%, and I'm at minus 7%. Now let's take a deeper look at my portfolio. It consists of 4 different assets. Majority of it represents stocks and ETFs. I have a smaller position in bond ETF, and I keep around 20% of my portfolio in cash. As I mentioned, it is well diversified among different sectors, with biggest positions in basic materials, technology, and healthcare. Majority of my holdings are based in US markets, but I also hold companies from Canada, Germany, Australia, UK, and some other countries. Here I have to mention that I had more positions in China market, but I've decided to limit them to 1 ETF. Now I would like to tell you more about my future views. It is really impossible to predict what will happen until the end of the year, but I'm keeping my eye on geopolitical tensions, with the main focus on war in Ukraine. Pandemic might be over, but I wouldn't be surprised to see another wave before winter. And here I'm especially concerned about Asia. With that, I mean specifically China and their zero COVID policy. Inflation is still here, and it won't go away easily. Central banks are rising interest rates, and I hope that we passed the inflation peak last month. It will be hard since fear of recession is growing. And it's impossible to predict how long it will take to recover. Here you can see a graph that I saved for the end. Here are presented investors' emotions during bull and bear markets. If you ask me, my opinion is that we are here around panic. And I know this all might be scary, since we were not used to falling prices in past 2 years. But I don't want to fear the bear market. I think of it more of like an opportunity to buy more strong companies that I already have at discount prices. And besides that, my portfolio is still doing great. And even if prices are falling, I'm receiving high dividends, which represent a good passive income in those times. Companies that I hold are also not relying that much on their debt, and that's why I'm not afraid investing more in them. So I hope you all enjoyed my presentation. Now I will answer your questions. I already got few of them under my eToro post and on Instagram, so I will answer those first. I got a question what I think about Berkshire, and what I think of them, because they're not paying out dividends. So I think that this is a great company. I have it on my watch list for at least a year now. I would be lying that if I would say that I'm not considering investing in it. And they have excellent management and great valuation. About dividends, I think that if company invests more money and they have good return on this invested capital, this might be even better than paying out dividends for shareholders. And as we all know, they have one of the best investors on board. Another question I got is if I would consider current market state as bear market. Yes, I think that we are in bear market. because if market falls more than 20% from their peak, it's officially a bear market, and we don't know if we already reached the bottom. But I'm also concerned of these geopolitical tensions, and I'm still keeping an eye on that. The last question I got is if it is a good time to start copying my portfolio. I think that we are, as I mentioned, we are facing falling markets, and I think that peaks and bottoms are almost impossible to predict. That's why I love the dollar cost averaging. With that, I mean investing a smaller amount on regular basis, and not everything at once. With that, you get a good average of entry points. So yeah, that's all. Thank you all for joining me. And if you have any more questions, please write them in the chat. Here is first question from Casper. Are you currently taking more money out of the market to increase your cash holding? No, I am not taking more money out. Actually, right now it's I think that it's better to invest in good, strong companies. So I'm considering investing more rather than taking my money out of the market. And I will probably also add more funds to my account this year, and I will let you know when this will be and what the percentage will be. When will you invest your cash holding? What signs or maybe prices are you waiting for? So I have certain price point for Meta, for Meta stock, because I think that it is a good opportunity, and I am also considering investing more in Apple. Big tech at low P ratio now. What are you considering? Are you considering investing in them? Yes. As I mentioned in last question, I'm considering investing more in Meta and more into Apple. They're both already in my portfolio. But here I don't think that we are maybe we are not that close to enter. I will wait with Apple a bit more, because I think that it can I think that there will be a better price. If you don't have any questions, any more questions, you can also write me on my email, or you can write me on Instagram, anywhere, and I will answer you.